In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some very niche coming-of-age books as a young girl or woman. If you want to hear more about these books, comment below and I'll make a more in-depth video. Thank you for clicking on the video, and please leave a like and a comment and subscribe. Let's start with the thickest one. This book is called The Good Daughter. This book is very thrilling, very psychological. It's eerie, mysterious, everything you want in a good thriller book. There was another book called The Good Daughter that was really popular, and this is not that one. This one is better, in my opinion. In order to understand her past, Dahlia must go back to her mother in the stifling town of Aurora, back into the past of a woman on the brink of madness. But after she discovers 3 grave-like mounds on a neighboring farm, Dahlia learns that in her mother's world of secrets, not all questions are meant to be answered. Very intriguing. So this book follows a woman called Dahlia. Her childhood was her and her mom were like always on the go. They were always moving around, staying in motels, driving to new states. Her mom's a very eccentric, strange woman, and Dahlia, when she grows up, she just wants to get away from all that. But before she can move on, she has to figure out why things were the way that they were for her childhood. And she has to go back to the source, which is her crazy mom. It turns into a whole entire mystery thing, and it's just insane. I give it like 4.5 stars. I would definitely read this again. The next book I'm going to tell you about is called Lullabies for Little Criminals. This is another amazing book. It was written by Heather O'Neill. She's a Canadian author from Montreal. This book is kind of based on her own life experiences as a kid. So this book follows a little girl named Baby, and the story starts when she's 6 years old. She doesn't have a mom. She just has her dad, Jules, and he's addicted to heroin. I don't know, like, he's trying to be a good dad, but he's got his addiction, and then she ends up falling through the cracks herself. It's honestly a heart-wrenching story, and this little girl goes through so much. But if you want to learn about, why some people end up the way that they do, just like kids who end up in these terrible situations addicted to drugs, it depicts it very realistically, like how this stuff happens, and I would recommend this book to just about anybody. This is definitely one of my favorite books of all times, and I give it 5 stars, of course. So another very niche, mysterious read. I know that you probably have not read this one, but you could have possibly heard of the movie because it was adapted into a film featuring Cher and Winona Ryder. So this book is called Mermaids, written by Patty Dan. It's kind of old. I'm not sure if it's in print anymore. I had to order my copy off of Thrift Books because I couldn't buy it new because it wasn't in print anywhere. So I watched the movie and I found out that it was based on a book, and of course I had to get the book because I loved the movie so much. This book is about a young girl named Charlotte. It's a coming-of-age story. She's a teenager and she's obsessed with religion because her mother is a free spirit, we might say. She's a character for sure. So Charlotte is in search of something deeper than herself. The book does have a bit of a dark twist to it, but the ending, I honestly cannot remember how it ended, but I probably need to read it again because I feel like I was thinking about the movie too much when I read it the first time, so I want to read it a second time and not think about the movie as much this time. Definitely one of those books that you probably haven't heard of, but it's really good. Up next, this book is called Dirty Rush by Taylor Bell. This is based on a girl's real experiences getting rushed into a sorority on her university campus. This book is a lot of fun to read. Like, if you were never able to have like that college experience that you see in the movies, the sororities and the fraternities, you can live vicariously through this book because you actually feel like you're a girl entering into a sorority when you read it, and it will honestly make you not envy that life and not desire to have it so much. But it's a lot of fun to read it, based on this girl's real experience with her sorority. Her name's Taylor. She gets rushed into this Greek sorority, and the girls are horrible to each other. The queen of the sorority is just a total bitch. Hilarious, and it's a lot of fun. It's like Mean Girls on steroids and in university. Another Canadian book. It's also a thriller. This book was a random find. It's called Stony River by Tricia Dower. I found it at a secondhand bookstore and I just liked the cover, so I bought it, and I'm happy that I did because it's a really good story. It's kind of like 3 different stories intertwined into each other. It's also kind of a coming of age story about these 3 young girls. They all have very different experiences and they're all very different people, but their stories intertwine. It's a very dark and entrancing, like you want to keep reading it. Like there's a lot that goes on in this story. So the 2 girls are like best friends with each other. One of them comes from a good home, the other one comes from a bad home. There's another girl who, she lives in this big creepy old gothic looking house with this old man, and it's really weird. These 2 girls who are friends with each other are kind of like suspicious about what's going on in there. They end up having a friendship breakup. The one girl gets a boyfriend and everything is just totally weird. You just get engrossed in this novel. And this last one is probably the heaviest one. It's called As She Grows by Leslie Ann Cohen. This novel is about a young girl. She's a teenager in the book, and there's like some generational curse with the women in her family being not being good mothers, being selfish, being alcoholics. So her mom and her grandma are both inflict a lot of trauma on her, and like mental abuse, verbal abuse, like they're alcoholics, they don't take care of her. She ends up having to take care of herself, and then she ends up getting pregnant. I'm gonna tell you right now that this book does not have a happy ending, so if you're looking for a book with a happy ending, you're not gonna find it here. But if you want something that'll tear you up from the inside out, then definitely read it. There we are, all the books, coming of age, young women, some of my favorite books ever. I hope that you found a book to read by watching this video, and thank you for watching, and good night.